So some very interesting new developments from former CIA Director John Brennan. Now look, he's a liar whenever it comes to Russiagate, so take this with a grain of salt. But he was interviewed recently by a guy named Tyler Cowen, really interesting intellectual, and this is what he had to say whenever Tyler asked John Brennan about the possible existence of UFOs. Quote, "But I think some of the phenomena we're going to be seeing continues to be unexplained and might, in fact, be some type of phenomenon that is the result of something that we don't yet understand and that could involve some type of activity that some might say constitutes a different form of life." And as they point out, it's now not just, John Brennan and Harry Reid, the Christopher Mellon, the former Assistant Secretary of Defense, has come out very publicly saying that there's a ton more evidence behind the scenes. So, look, like I said, I have to balance this with, we saw John Brennan lie about Russiagate, but I don't see a lot of incentive here in order to lie about this. In fact, the way I read the statement, Krystal, is being like, some might say it constitutes a different form of life. So, like, hinting towards it without confirming it, being just mealy-mouthed enough where it's not going to break any big news. And the media hates the UFO story anyway. They don't take any of it very seriously despite everything that is out there. So just the latest in a long string of recent developments now. Yeah, well, and what all those people have in common that you just named is all of them have had at times access to highly classified information. Right. And at the very least, they're certainly not ruling it out based on what they've seen. And in fact, I mean, Harry Reid obviously has been one of the biggest proponents of doing more investigation and finding what's going on. President Trump, you got a few more weeks here in office. He's not going to do it. I know he's not. I wish he was going to do it, but I just have no faith anymore. I've talked to some people around just being like, hey, is there a way I can help facilitate this and all that? And they're like, yeah, it's just, so far down on on the priority. Tucker did a segment. Tucker did a segment on UFOs, and I thought, that's basically a direct line to Trump, right? And so I was like, well, maybe that will push something in the right direction. But the problem is that even the president, and again, you should go listen to John Podesta talk about this. John Podesta was a big UFO guy. He was former White House chief of staff. He was like, look, I tried to get information. They won't give it to me. He's like, I tried, even with the full force of the White House and the presidency behind him. Bill Clinton has even said publicly, he's like, I'm embarrassed to say, like, I tried to find out, and I didn't really find anything. And so that's where we are right now. Things are so compartmentalized, keep, the nuclear secrets and like all that other stuff, that they're just little drips of information sitting in the government. And a guy like John Brennan, I actually think would know, or at least would have access to some of those, little tidbits. So that's where we are right now. If anyone was going to have any sort of access to that information, it would be someone in the position of power that he was. It's got to be somebody with access to, like, the raw intel, like before they bundle it all up and then send it up to the president, or, cover it up, or, bury it in the bureaucracy, that type of thing. And reminder, there is apparently a photo, triangle UFO, perfectly clear, crystal clear photo taken by a fighter pilot with his iPhone camera sitting inside the intelligence community right now, just waiting to be leaked to an enterprising journalist. So if you're out there, you work in the DOD, leak it to me. I will protect your identity. Promise. All right. We'll have more Rising for you after this.